Street for 2.5 years. Part of that time was pulling in federal money and state money. Here's how it goes, track it in and out, where does this go? And I also was tasked with putting together our last large grant application through the Department of Justice, which was for, they didn't, I can't think of the word I want, but okay, here's what we want. We want to put in a new substation way out southeast. It was a concept type drawing. And by the time we finished, it was a $9 million project. Here's what our command staff looks like. Here's what our supervisors look like. Here's going to be all the benefits. Here's what we're going to have. Here's going to be a shift. Here's going to be the car. Here's going to be all the equipment that has to do with it. And I had to put that entire package together. I sent that to the Department of Justice, and they approved it. At that time, Mayor Susan Savage said, I don't think we want to take that step. But I was kind of proud that I was able to put that package together. When I went to Kosovo, and I was moved to the southern region, I was the head of IT and logistics. In logistics, I had the challenge of, okay, which border? We had Montenegro to the north, we had Albania, Macedonia. Where's our equipment coming in? How do I get my equipment in here? What are we going to do with our police equipment? And I was tasked with what I thought was one of the most fun jobs I had ever had. It was traveling all the border areas and trying to figure out how to bring all those police stations back online. They had been shot up, bombed, abandoned. And so to do that, I got to go up there and meet with the communities, find out what they want. How receptive are they to a police force? What was their last experiences like? Is this building worth bringing back? Are we going to should we find something else and raise it? If we're going to be doing this, what do our roadways look like? Because the roads there are not the roads here. They're typically like, hold this and go, oh, okay, well, guardrail will keep me safe. There's no guardrail. Okay, this kind of stuff, washed out roads. So you had to look at how do you get the equipment in there? What kind of lines do we have? Our overhead lines. And then trying to make as much in the local economy. How many contractors do I have locally that we could put this kind of contract out and get some money into the community? So that, and then I got to write curriculum for police departments, and that was also part of my job, was making sure we were trying to, when I got into Baghdad, I was also on the inspection team. And for a while, I feared attacking the inspector. That's not good. Inspector, by and large, is not like, inspectors just have, these are guys that go out and look at operations and see what your operations look like, how to put this together. And you start looking at and monitoring it. Okay, here's the training, our training up to international standards. Are they following the standards? Stuff like, things like that. That really makes the police department. And in Baghdad, I was also assigned to the internal affairs unit, explaining and following up their internal affairs investigations. You got to follow this. Torture's not allowed there. You can't do that. Stuff of that nature. And over there, they got very, very dangerous. The police were just corrupt as, they were brutal. Everybody was fighting for control of the country. So, yes, I know how to do internals. I know how to bring a police station back up, and I know a pretty good idea on how to make a police or a law enforcement agency responsive to the community, which is that really law enforcement. That's a big experiment in the United States. Historically, law enforcement has belonged to those in power to protect those in power from those that have nothing. Law enforcement should belong to the people. You should trust me. You should like me. You shouldn't see me driving around on the back of a big MRAP with the RoboCop gear on. I'm sorry, that was absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe we can start with questions from the community. So, does anybody have any questions or comments? Yeah.
I do. Rex, you've run a pretty positive campaign. You've got a debate coming up Monday night, KRMG sponsor, Nick Regallo. Are you going to look at his out-of-town contributions and his buyout of his supervisor so that he could get promoted and things like that?
No. The way I look at it is, at the very beginning, I'm a kind of person who likes to keep things simple. My view when I was asked if I would run, I thought about it a lot, and my girlfriend back there and I discussed it a bunch. The only way I can figure running a campaign is just being me. Here's who Rex is. Here's what I stand for. Here's what I look for. This is the way I look at things. And if that message resonates and resonates loud enough, I'll be elected. If it doesn't resonate, I won't. What the other person's doing and presenting, frankly, it's none of my business, and I don't care what he does.
Any other questions?
Well, it will be our business if he gets elected, huh?
So how do you see conveying what you say about helping people trust? How would you, once you take office, so to speak, how would you tell your staff this is how you should live it out?
That's experience, and that's going to take a little while. What has happened in the sheriff's department is kind of like you got a battleship in the ocean and the captain's been asleep. It's just kind of been floating around out there doing whatever it wants. So it's going to take a little while to get a direction on it and get control of it. But by and large, I've talked with several people within the sheriff's department, including Rick Weigel, John Bowman, and several others that left, that have said, we have some really good people in here that have had no leadership and they've not been treated fairly. Good people, when you step in, they follow the lead and the example of their leader. First of all, I have to exhibit what I expect. I have to be the top example of what I believe. And the good ones are going to follow. And then you begin to look at those that won't follow and get with the program and find out how to address that. As far as changing attitudes and changing around, it's going to take a while, but I don't think it's going to be the impossible task it looks like. Well, one thing I would add on that is I've learned from reading up in the CSI report and a few other things, is one of the big problems they had within the sheriff's department is nobody knew what was expected of them. Policies and procedures changed massively, large numbers, frequently, to where people were just signing them up on the computer without reading them. And there's kind of like a general lack of what is it that's expected of them. First of all, your people at the top level have got to make a clear set of policies and procedures, rules and regulations to stay within this. You're protected. Here's your guidelines. And you work within this, you're good. We will support you. And those things cannot change every time there's some major, stubs his toe.
I'm Angela with Political Woodstock Media. I've heard talk of a night court. Do you see that in your vision for the Tulsa County Jail? And what would be the benefits of a night court, so to speak?
Oh, night court. Okay, I'm sorry. I've only got the one here in the group right now.
Oh, okay.
That actually fits in with what I would like to see in the long range. I've worked a lot with members from the mental health society here, and certainly the county jail is not the right place for people with mental illness. That's just a bad idea. Unfortunately, I don't see our conservative legislature jumping up here and funding anything for anybody. Like a night judge, and also looking at diversion programs before they get there. Working with maybe the deputies going, okay, we're working with the community resources. Here's how we network them, and get into the networks and social support before they ever get into the jail, so they don't have a jail record. Which also means we need less jail space. And so that's what I would like to have. And if we needed to, then have like a judge that says, okay, we have let's say like a crime that's alleged here, but we can put this on a bench and put this person into this kind of social services thing and make sure that they can then come back and work it. Because a jail, really should only exist to hold those that are dangerous and those that need to account for whatever the violation was that we have a fear they won't return. It should not be a place of raising money and seeing what you can keep in there. So if ankle bracelets work, or if, let's say, a local church says we'll take him and sign and verify that he'll be there in jail, he or she, will appear for court, for the court time, why not? Why not get him out there? Why do we want to keep building a bigger jail? Did that answer your question?
Yes, very good answer.
Have you spoken out about the state's forfeiture laws?
I'm sorry?
Have you spoken out about the state's forfeiture laws?
Oh, I haven't spoken out on that. I'm still digging into that. You talk about a morass. I hear one thing from the sheriff's office and from the officials saying that forfeiture does not occur until after the actual forfeiture does not occur until after they're convicted. You know, that they get arrested and it's a drug car or they have whatever, and so it's held and they file the paperwork or whatever the property is. And unless the person's convicted, it doesn't get forfeited. I'm finding out that there's accounts from the community that that's not necessarily the case. So I think you're going to be seeing possibly a story on that coming out in the world here shortly. A gentleman has a used car lot that has had his cars taken. He would sell them to someone and he would finance it. And then some of the car, he would cut somebody in a car with drugs that were taking your car, and then he can no longer get the court system and the sheriff's office to respond. And now he's out $15,000 in a car. So those are now being looked into. Also found that part of those problems may have been within, say, individuals and offices that were supposed to be filling out paperwork that says, here's what we have and it's for review. And if the paperwork didn't get filled out, it just kind of silently slid out or turned into a forfeiture. So that's part of what I want in a full forensic audit. I requested that week before last. Sorry, my days are rolling together in this campaign. Is a formal request to the Board of County Commissioners, to the Criminal Justice Authority, and to the District Attorney's Office, to Steve Kunzler, and we're now requesting a full forensic audit of the jail, of the sheriff's operations, and the monies going into it. And we've also asked for a full forensic audit of the payroll rate. So at this point, we're waiting on the responses.
One thing that local churches are concerned about is the practice of turning Christians loose in the middle of the night. They might be arrested in July, and they keep them until December, and they turn them loose after midnight so that they can collect another day's rent. And these people are unprepared for the weather, or there's no transportation in the middle of the night.
That specific issue I've not heard of, but that does not surprise me. I have heard the stories about people who made bond and suddenly it's like a week or so later they finally get released and they get to collect those extra days in there. The lady that through our church, Jill Webb, has been putting together packages at least to give them something when they go out. But I found that I have not heard of that specific incident, but I find that inhumane and frankly disgusting that you would take someone that's troubled or has nothing and wait until it's in the middle of the night and it's cold and put them out. If I become sure if that doesn't happen, and if I find anybody responsible for doing that, they're probably going to find another job.
So building community is obviously very important to you, and that's wonderful, but you are just one person. So what policies and strategies could you see yourself putting in place so that the whole department is more open to the community?
Okay, well, wow. Policies. First, I haven't gotten all. Yesterday is the first time I've got the full copy of the disc of what the current policies and procedures are.